Learning how to learn is a lifelong, personal journey of change. Do you think about how you read, how you write, how you listen, how you manage time, how you plan learning? These are skills used in learning. Learning is a persistent change in performance. We read for comprehension. We write for communication. We listen for understanding. We manage time for the planning of learning. Let's consider reading. Imagine you're given a 60-page chapter to read and a 200 to 400-word essay to write. Do you read all 60 pages, trying to comprehend, reading it over and over and over again? That will overload your brain and actually undermine your learning process. A better brain-based approach to this is to clarify the instructions for the essay. Then scan that 60 pages to see how it's organized, see how it's structured. As you're scanning it, identify and highlight what you're going to use in the writing of the essay. You know, over the years, I've asked numerous students, how did you learn the multiplication tables? I'm always amazed when I hear, I memorized them. The learning of the multiplication tables was accomplished through using them, through recall, rehearsal, and repetition. When we reflect on how we read, write, and listen, we can strengthen those skills for learning. Every learning experience we have shapes our beliefs, our confidence, and our motivation for how we learn. And these beliefs influence every decision we make for how we use our learning skills. Every individual rises to the level of their beliefs. So, what are your beliefs about your learning skills? Several years ago, on the first day of class, a student was in the back of the room, was crying. She had tears running down her face. When I could, we found time in the hall for privacy. Why are you crying? I'm going to flunk this class. I'm no good at this subject. Where did you learn that? Why do you believe that? That's what my high school teacher told me. Can I have permission to help you change that belief? The conversation continued for the rest of the semester. Here's your final paper with an A. Do you remember what you used to believe about this subject? Well done. Are your beliefs about your learning skills as important as what you're learning? Learning is an emotional and social experience. When you receive feedback from the instructor in a course, and it's less than what you expected, and is that a reason to judge yourself? Or is that a learning opportunity? I believe those are learning opportunities. Every individual attempts to learn with the best of intentions, but is getting it right or getting it done on time more important than how you use your learning skills? I believe it's vitally important for everyone to become aware of how they use their learning skills. If you baked a cake tomorrow, and in the process of baking the cake, it didn't come out well, would you go back and look at the recipe? Would you go back and change what you did? Would you make another attempt? I know I would. Life experiences are a journey for discovering opportunities to strengthen our learning skills. When we reflect on how we use our learning skills, we can strengthen our beliefs, confidence, and our motivation for learning. I believe it's possible for everyone to strengthen their learning skills. But that requires change. And learning how to change requires learning how to strengthen your learning skills. Every teacher, educator, instructor that takes the time to pay attention to how a student is using their learning skills guides that student towards strengthening their learning skills for life. As an educator, making a difference for how a student uses their learning skills is so important to me. As educators, paying attention to how a student uses their learning skills can guide that student towards understanding how to strengthen them. That will improve their learning opportunities. We all learn from each other. We're all teachers. We're all learners. We all do this together. How we learn is more important than what we learn.